Good morning! Drew, how do you like the display on your MacBook Pro? Oh, Tim, this is great. I've got mini LED, I've got 120 hertz, I've got a retina display with high pixel density. I love it. Oh, that's wonderful. And we've added very capable ports so you can plug in external monitors. Oh yeah, HDMI is back. So can I get an external monitor with all of these great specs? No. You can't. Just no. Just flat out no. You're not like working on it anymore. You're not even gonna try? Too freaking hard. But the Pro display is still available for the low price of $6,000. Okay. And is that 120 hertz or mini LED or okay? Just no, that's it. You're not even gonna try. But you should still buy it. It's a good deal. You can fit all of that great tech in a display this thin, but you can't do it on a giant, beefy monitor with no battery. Drew, I think you just need to be more grateful for what we give you. Now get over it and buy the Pro display. No. Well, this was kind of the most depressing news we got today, because according to Ross Young, Apple has decided to scrap that refreshed Pro Display XDR that we've been talking about, it feels like, for years at this point. Felt pretty obvious given the MacBook Pro's got mini LED and 120 hertz, and obviously Apple has done nothing with the Pro Display XDR since 2019. All we got was a studio display, which is really just using the same panel from the old 27-inch iMac. Nothing really too fancy about it other than it's 5K, but come on, Apple's been giving us 5K displays since like 2015, so not exactly groundbreaking technology anymore. And I think that was leaving a lot of us hopeful and excited for when is Apple going to drop this new monitor alongside the new Apple Silicon Mac Pro, or at least just a great accessory for our MacBook Pros. But here's my best theory as to why Apple has decided against this. I think, as we were speculating in our own live streams and videos, it's the output of data that's really challenging to get working on existing hardware. Because yes, we do have 120 hertz and mini LED in our current MacBook Pros, but these are sub 4K displays, whereas designing just a 27-inch and definitely a 32-inch display, that's when you'd be pushing 5K easily or 6K. There was even some talk for a while about doing a 7K display panel, and when you're doing that many pixels all at once at a very high refresh rate, Thunderbolt 4 actually isn't enough. It can't maintain 5K and 120 hertz. It can do, I think around 4K at 120 hertz, and definitely it can do 6K at 60 hertz, but once you start combining those, there's just so much throughput necessary. And sure, many of you are probably wondering, well, HDMI 2.1 became available on the M2 Pro MacBooks, so couldn't they have done it through HDMI? Theoretically, yes, but that also kind of goes against Apple's simplicity of setup, just being able to plug in one cable that powers the MacBook and does the video output. And HDMI 2.1, I don't think would have the power capabilities to actually charge the MacBook Pro. I don't even know if the MacBooks are set up for that, and also be outputting a video signal. So you'd have your MagSafe on one side, your HDMI on the other, outputting to this super high resolution, gorgeous monitor, and that likely would have made the video controllers on the MacBook work really hard, and maybe that worsened the overall performance of the machine. And on top of that, the obvious one that a lot of people are speculating, this thing probably just would have been so freaking expensive. I mean, the Pro Display XDR was already insanely priced. Now imagine if, okay, we gotta not just have Thunderbolt ports on this thing, we're also gonna need HDMI 2.1 for the people that want to take full advantage of that external monitor, and trying to make mini LED at a resolution that high, and with the refresh rate that high, it probably would have cost the same as the current Pro Display, at least, or maybe more. And because Apple was kind of laughed at by the live audience, you ever wonder why they don't have live events anymore? It's because of how embarrassing it was to say,
and the Pro stand, $999. And like the Mac Pro, they'll all be available in the fall.
So knowing that it was going to be a very niche product in the first place, and now that the studio display exists and is still honestly kind of expensive for what it is, but is just so insanely cheap compared to whatever that updated Pro Display is going to cost, Apple decided, yeah, let's just pick our battles while we're trying to diversify the supply chain and move more production out of China and all that kind of stuff. They didn't want to tackle anything too crazy, and this kind of goes along the lines of Bloomberg's report, which is that the Mac Pro isn't getting really be a massive redesign. It's basically just going to look exactly like the current one, and then they slap an M2 Ultra in it and call it a day. So if it sounds like Apple's pretty happy with the existing Apple Silicon Mac lineup, you know, Mac Studio has been replacing Mac Pros for many people, then Apple's probably thinking, why do we need to spend gobs of money on a redesigned Mac Pro that not that many people are gonna buy, or a vastly updated Pro Display XDR, which is gonna be so expensive and so niche that the thick profit margins on it might not even justify the R&D expenses. So it's sad because I was very much excited for that kind of monitor to come out. I've been saying for years that's really the only external monitor I want with my MacBook Pro, because I was just trying to match the display specifications that my MacBook had, just on a bigger screen, because yes, it does have an amazing display, and now I'm certainly a bit bummed out by the fact that we're not getting it, but at the same time, we're planning a lot of trips this year, and I knew that I was going to be taking my MacBook Pro with me on these trips, and very likely not going to be able to take the external monitor anyway, so even if I would have bought one, if it was miraculously like $3,000, I still would have had to leave it at home for many months out of the year while I was away, just like when visiting my parents' place like I am right now. If you want to see the road trip video, check out Tailosive EV. But yeah, I guess we just gotta live with more of our iPads as sidecars and trying to make do with the monitors that we can pack with us. How bummed out by this are you guys, or does it not surprise you at all? Feel free to let me know down in the comments below, and thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I'll see you all in the next one.